Good morning, Bitcoin. Today is Sunday, August 20th, 2017. My name is Thomas Hunt, and here's what's happening today in Bitcoin. The price of Bitcoin was down only about 0.1, about a third of a point, to a last of 4,072, a high of 4,153, and a low of 3,990. The price of Bcash was down 12%, but still at a very high $787.90. Our top story, the most important tip for Bitcoin and Powerball Jackpot millionaires. And this was a great article from Forbes that says, don't treat lucky money differently than hard-earned money. If you win money, some gamblers like to separate it into a second pocket so that they don't put house money back on the table. Take some of your winnings off the table. Don't reinvest or re-gamble all of your winnings. Good advice from Forbes. We've also got Indonesian workers using Bitcoin for liquid wage transfers. As Tur Demister quotes, a person working for the Peace Corps in Indonesia has noticed that there's a family in the village that buys and sells Bitcoin for cash. Many are using this Bitcoin to send home to their relatives. Bitcoin is slowly expanding. And finally, the mainstream media only wants to talk about the price, but I thought this one was especially interesting. Each Bitcoin could be worth $619,047 in 10 years. I just like the specificity. But of course, no one can predict the future. We've also had some great arguments on Twitter with Kian Rodriguez laying into Brian Hoffman saying that any person who spouts an argument against replay protection is illogically dense and not an honest actor. This started a very long debate between Brian and Kian, even including Eric Lombroso. Later on, Samson Mao talked about the NYA, saying that we know they had good intentions, but we're not sure what they have now. The NYA seems to be going on without stops, despite the fact that there's no problems with the Bitcoin network right now, and that we have segregated witness. We're not really sure why they can't say no to the 2x hard fork. But for more on Bcash and everything that's going on today, we're joined by Richard Hart. How's it going, Richard?
It's going great when I can click that mute button accurately. Hi, interweb.
I like the way Google hides it and makes it harder to click. It's interface design 101, people.
Shall I say other things? I don't know. What do you want? How's it going? Don't drink alcohol. There's my advice for the day.
It's good advice. What's been going on with Bcash, Richard? I saw the price went up recently. That was interesting.
Well, if you want to buy a lot of a thing and you don't want to overpay for the thing, you're supposed to not tell everyone that you want to buy the thing. It's like trying to buy an apartment block. If you need like 8 lots of property and you've bought up 7, the 8th person notices this and you pay a whole lot for the 8th one. So it makes a lot of sense to, if you don't want to move the market against you and overpay, to spread your orders out across exchanges and not do them all very quickly. That way you get a cheaper deal. So someone decided in Korea to pay cash, Korean won, and triple the price of Bcash on the Korean exchanges, which were then arbitraged down across other exchanges. And you can see this by going to CoinMarketCap and clicking Bcash and clicking markets, and then you'll see a list of all of the tracked exchanges with their volumes. Larger volume means more trading going on, and the leading exchange that has the most trading and the most buying in this case is going to have the highest price, usually. So some people thought that people were dumping their Bitcoin and buying Bcash, but that's not what the exchanges showed. The exchanges showed that people were paying Korean won cash for Bitcash and had tripled the price in like 7 hours or 10 hours or something. So the theory was, and I guess this was warned. So Ari Paul, an investor, professional investor, linked to a thread on Reddit that said, hey guys, this is how they're going to try and attack Bitcoin. They're going to pump up the price so that it's more profitable to mine Bitcoin, to get miners to switch over, to slow down the Bitcoin network because we'll find blocks slower because miners moved. And so the price pump actually happened, right? Now, you don't know whether it was really the people that said they were going to do it, in which case Roger was on Reddit saying he would do it, which is funny because it's probably not actually legal. like manipulating a market just to manipulate the price of the market, it's actually not legal. However, I guess maybe you can get away with it in Cryptoville or Cryptoland or whatever. You're supposed to just buy things because you want them. You're not supposed to buy things to manipulate the market. So the pump actually happened, and we don't know whether it was Roger or someone else. But since Roger had so much to do with launching it and so much to do with promoting it, and preceded the pump with a post that said, "Hey, I might pump this," it seems like a pretty reasonable bet. So I said, "Hey guys, if you want to help dump into this like silly like vanity coin that they're trying to get the price up on to steal miners away, well, now's the time to do it." And I wrote a short tutorial on how to get your Bcash coins out of your wallet and dump them. Where to dump them, how to dump them. You can go on my Twitter. It's Richard Hart Win at Twitter, twitter.com/Richard Hart Win, and heart like the one in your chest. If and some people posted, "Hey, thanks a lot for the advice. I got X, like I just got a 20% bonus on my holdings because I dumped into this silliness," which is, I feel good about. Like, good, congrats. If someone's going to give you something, I'm glad you can have access to it. So my theory is, if it is true that Roger and Jihan and perhaps some other people want to harm Bitcoin and pump this other thing, and they feel that stealing miners over for a while is a way to do that, then let's help them get out of the Bitcoin ecosystem. Let's help them get into their own coin to ruin it. And if you pump up the price of Bitcoin now, they're going to have to pump up the price of BCH higher because they're trying to maintain a ratio. So this is one of these funny things where the higher the price of Bitcoin is, the more they're going to have to pay to pump their vanity coin, because to keep the DARI, which you can see on fork.lol, to keep that mining ratio more profitable on BCH, they need to like invest a lot of money to do that. Now, some people were theorizing that they were just doing wash trading, which means buying from themselves. So you create two accounts. You have one account, put up a sell order. You have your other account, buy it real quick before anyone sees it. And then you've moved the price up. But really, all you've done is move coins from one hand to the other hand and paid a little fee, right? So some more advanced traders were saying there was a lot of wash trading going on, looking at the patterning. And obviously, the fact that it's only occurring on one set of exchanges in a country where most people don't speak English is also very odd. So that's my summary. If you want to take Jihan and Roger's money and maybe some other people's, dump your coins, read my tutorial. I don't think that the price can go too much higher, because really the people that are pumping it, there's not that many of them. And as soon as more people have access to their coins, there's a totally restricted availability of coins right now because they're locked up in exchanges, or they're people that have cold wallets that don't trust the software to run it, or there's people who've never heard of this crap and they're just sitting on an island sipping martinis, enjoying like Bitcoin holding life. So the price is way higher than would be reasonable by any fundamental analysis, particularly since their project sucks and is run by idiots.
All right. Thanks, Richard, for that report. If everyone could give us a thumbs up or a share, that would be great. We're also joined by Tone Vase with a check of the current markets. How's it going, Tone?
Hey guys, it's going good. I got my last day here in Russia, and then I am off back to New York. So I'll be doing our next couple of shows from there before setting off on another trip. That was good commentary, Richard, and it is crazy how everything is coming out of Korea and Japan, the two markets that Roger Ver is very familiar with. So again, not a coincidence, and obviously China with Jihan is there. Now, what I find particularly interesting is, and Thomas, you mentioned the New York agreement people still want to go on with their hard fork of the segregated witness code into a bigger block. And at this point, I can't wait for that to happen. And we'll probably elaborate that on our week-ending show. I can't wait for the New York agreement to split into another altcoin, because the community that's going to get split the most is the Bcash community. And it will be hilarious, because if they can convince X amount of miners to switch over from Bitcoin to Bcash just for profitability and not because there is a real network that needs support, then those miners will be the first miners to switch the moment the New York coin becomes remotely more profitable than the Bcash coin. So it'll be great, and they'll be fighting each other way more than they'll be fighting against actual Bitcoin. So I'm really, really, really looking forward to that. So that's pretty much, that was pretty much my general comment on the situation. All right, so let's talk about the price, okay? Look, we all got spoiled. I think I've said this in the last couple of shows. We got spoiled with the price of Bitcoin going up. Look, in reality, Bitcoin has gone up this year from about $1,000 to $4,000. So we're at a 4x return for the year. Even since our prior top, before this mess started, we are up 25% since then. And we are up more than double since SegWit became a reality. So all in all, we're doing pretty damn good. Okay, from a technical perspective on the weekly chart, like I've been saying even last week, if there is 1 week where you want the price to kind of get stuck and not move up too much, this is the week you want it to happen, right here on week 5 of a 9-week run. Okay, so let's see what happens, and it should be easier going forward. And I'm still expecting Bitcoin to pop to the upside, hurting Bcash. And here's the daily chart. The triangle didn't exactly work out. It's still not the end of the world. You know, I can even maybe expand it a little bit. Now I'm stretching it a little, but let's see. It's not over yet. I mean, there's plenty of support right here at 3,400, and worst case scenario back down to 3,000. I mean, none of that kills the bearish trend. According to my numerical indicator, this right here, at the end of this week, it was a time to end your bullish position and potentially take on a bearish position if you wanted to. I mean, I would never short Bitcoin. I think that's crazy, but you could have, according to this one particular indicator. And the hourly chart isn't very useful. It's flipping up and down. There was a nice 9 buy signal right here. Some short-term profits could have been made. Ever since then, it started flipping around, and there's really not much going on at all. There will be another hourly buy signal coming up once this 11 goes to a 12 and then goes to a 13. Thought I saw a 12 like one before we started the show, but now it's back down. So that's about it. I don't really care to talk about Bcash at all. I know I'm being trolled on Twitter left and right for saying this thing would be less than $5 by now. Obviously, I was wrong on the price. I mean, easy to admit that. I was wrong on the price, but the reality of the situation is that it's still a crap coin. I mean, there's nothing there. Centralized mining, unknown centralized mining, plus no development. All it is a pump, and it's not going to last. And even if it lasts, it'll be pretty much irrelevant. So, and to all of those people that are saying how wrong I was, well, too bad for you. So you got 10% on your money if you exited when I exited as early as humanly possible. And yeah, you missed out. You know, you people are greedy. You just got 10% for nothing. You got 10% on stupidity. And most of you are generally smart because you were holding Bitcoin. You weren't like holding Ethereum at that time, right? So you got 10%. And you're not happy about that? You wanted 20? I don't know, go back in. Go back in right now. If you're that greedy that you wanted that extra 10%, I think you should move all of your Bitcoin into Bcash. Wait for it to go up to double your money, okay? For all the people that are giving me shit about that, okay? I think you should all do that. Go for it.
Can I make a comment on that?
Go ahead.
Sure.
I don't think that... So I think the time to have ridden the pump was much earlier, because if the theory is correct that they need to maintain the miners' profitability until like the downward adjustment of difficulty, which I think is occurring very soon, then there's no reason for them to really, really overkill it, right? So there's a cap, and they're already more profitable. It's already more profitable for a miner to see. If you're a miner, you don't care about what the coin profitability graph says. You care about what you can actually sell it for in an exchange. And so they realize that if this thing's more profitable now, it doesn't mean that it'll be more profitable when they actually find a block and actually get their coin and actually try to sell it. Miners have been seeing these fluctuations and been gluing their eyes to the market for much longer than any of us mere holders. So I don't think it's very easy to trick miners with an artificial pump and say, oh, you're going to make so much more money. And they also realize that it's self-balancing. The more miners that try and take that deal and take that extra money, it disappears because they're all fighting for the same coins. And then they get divided over a larger pool of miners. So I would feel uncomfortable going long BCC, BCH, Bcash, whatever this nightmare coin is called, because they've already reached the cap of necessary appeal to try and bring miners over. And there's really no reason to pump it beyond that. So I feel like it shouldn't, there's no reason for them to pump it any higher. And there's obviously no demand from normal places.
I'm pulling up one more thing here. I want to see what, yeah, so look, so via BTC, it does have 590 petahash running on BCC. So they actually have it looks like they are running more hash rate on BCC than they do on Bitcoin.
It's also worth noting that Bcash is mined entirely 90% by unknown. And I know everyone's new to Bitcoin. You just got here last week, but back in the old days of Bitcoin, when a mining pool would get above 50%, everyone would freak out because there's a potential of a 51% attack, which isn't as scary as it sounds. It's not like a corporation where you just take it over, but it is a problem. And that's to say nothing about 90%, which no one seems to notice.
Right, and it's 90%, and not only it's 90%. I remember when everyone freaked out when what was that mining Hash.io? Hash.io hit 50.5%, and people went berserk. And that was a known pool with a lot of decentralization inside that pool. I mean, it was just random people. It wasn't like some Chinese company running most of it with a few extra people strolling in. This was a popular pool, decentralized all over the world. That pool went from 50.5% down to less than 1% within a year. That's what happened. And now we have like 90+% centralization. That is completely unknown. This is ridiculous. Anyone that knows anything about Bitcoin and crypto knows that this is complete and utter nonsense.
I think another funny thing is that this like fantasy that we need miners so bad, you don't. The whole Bitcoin network ran on a single computer when it was created and ran on very few computers for many, many years until it had the gigantic market value that it has today. As long as people aren't actually performing double spending attacks or 51% attacks, we're wildly oversecured. We actually have way more miners than we would ever possibly need. We're oversecured into oblivion, and it's okay for that to be the case because it prevents people from trying to generate attacks against this very expensive network. But for some reason, the reason that all these other terrible coins are able to survive is because it seems like the world has become more friendly for some reason. For some reason, no one's attacking all of these unsecured, weaker, stupider things. I'm not exactly sure why. I wouldn't risk my money on the idea that that would continue. But I mean, whether your coin has 20% more miners or 20% less miners, I don't think it's going to make much of an ounce of difference to anything. I mean, everything auto balances, right? The miners can come and leave. The difficulty will go up and down. This doesn't really make much of a difference to anyone holding or using, unless real attacks occur, which they haven't in as long as I can remember.
Yeah, and Richard, and it's interesting that you said like our system is way oversecured. Meanwhile, at least twice a week, I got someone asking me about, am I scared of quantum computers destroying Bitcoin? Like,
well,
no, I'm not.
DualShot 256 is quantum hard already, apparently. Apparently, quantum computing doesn't help you do dual round 2 SHA-56, which is what we use to mine. Now, maybe ECDSA might break for private signatures, but you know, it's patchable.
Yeah, and that might be another user-activated soft fork that if the miners don't get behind, we'll get it done again.
I think, yeah, if the mining algorithm was broken, we could all agree to change to a new one, hopefully. But you never know. Do you guys want to end this, or do you have more to say?
No, I'm good.
All right, I think we're going to
head.
Go ahead.
Well, I could mention the debate, although I don't have any specs yet.
No, you shouldn't.
Okay.
No, hype is hype. Hype it.
Don't. Sure, hype it. Go.
Okay. Roger Ver, who I've savaged pretty often in public forums, has agreed to debate, and I agree with him on a lot of stuff. You know, less war, personal sovereignty, a lot of libertarian stuff. We agree on a ton of things. We just appear to disagree on these airdrop fork coins, Bcash, 2x, 3x, 4x, 5x, 6x, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, all of this stuff. I mean, I guess I don't mind the free money, but at some point it becomes a little silly. Well, he's agreed to do a debate, and we're figuring out the details. And I guess I don't know whether I'm going to do it on World Crypto or his channel or my channel or all of them, or maybe we could do it on Twitch. I haven't figured it out yet. But if you guys want details, keep your eyes here or sign up on my Twitter. It's Richard Hart Win. That's it.
Well, my biggest request is for you to like ask him, because Roger is on this crusade against SegWit to make lower fees, to make fees lower. And both Jihan and ViaBTC are on record on Twitter saying that they don't like SegWit because they make fees unreasonably low. And therefore, they're supporting Roger Ver's big blocks, which his crusade is lower fees. So that makes absolutely no sense to me, and I'm hoping you can bring that up at some point.
They have one loophole in there, which is that signature costs are weighted differently than SegWit signature costs. So there was a discount given to SegWit signatures that wasn't given to normal signatures. And it's kind of like a red herring that they can throw out there as an argument for, oh, they want us to use their tier 2 stuff. They have patents on it and all these other things. But there's other technical reasons why that discount exists that have nothing to do with the non-existent, non-commercial business models of, many of the people that are associated with writing this core software.
I like Tone trying to split up the allies there, because when you play the Game of Thrones, you play to win. And obviously, we'd offer to host Roger and Richard here. I'd be glad to moderate the debate if Roger's up for it. But otherwise, I just look forward to watching it. Should be really fun. Just like to thank everybody for watching today. If it's your first time here, please subscribe down below. We do this every day. We have more than 1,000 viewers right now. That means if everyone gave us $10, we'd have $10,000. That's crazy. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.